Hello and welcome back to the channel. So something crossed my mind and I was like, yes, I need to do a video on this. I need to talk about this. And that is, I was thinking about it and that's the difference between happiness and joy. I got to thinking about it in the last couple days as I was processing some stuff, kind of doing some self reflection, but just, thinking about different things in life that happen to us, and then that just came to mind, and I was like, oh yes. So I want to talk about happiness, and I want to talk about joy, and the difference between those two. And when we understand the difference between happiness and joy, then what happens is that we make better decisions. I think we make better decisions when we look at the difference between happiness and joy. And so usually sometimes, I write stuff down before I I do my videos, but as I'm talking, stuff's gonna come to my head, and I'm gonna jot down some stuff that I want to talk about as I'm doing the video, right? So first of all, as I said, if you think of the difference between happiness and joy, I think you make better decisions, and I think you have a better life. So here we go. Let me take a shot at this. When I think of happiness, I think of it's something that is for a moment. So when I think of happiness, I think that it is something that is momentary. Like it's something that is for a moment. Happiness doesn't last forever, so to speak. It can last long. Happiness can last long, right? And I'm breaking it down as I'm talking to you, but it doesn't last forever. And I'm gonna break that down as I'm talking about it. So happiness, it's it's for a moment. It can last long, but it doesn't last forever. So let's take a shot. Let's take a shot at that. There are times where we do certain things, and I'm going to give examples. There are times where we do certain things. For example, let's pick sex as an example. Let's pick sex as an example. Are you looking for happiness, or are you looking for joy as it relates to sex? Are you looking for happiness, or are you looking for joy? Because if you're looking for happiness, this is what I think we do. If we're looking for happiness, then that's a hookup. Let's start with a hookup. If you're looking for happiness, that's a hookup because guess what? You can have sex, swipe on an app, go on some website, whatever the case is, meet somebody somewhere, I don't know, bar, club, and you can have a good time that night. And you may never see the person again. And you walk away and you feel, I had a good night. So you're happy, right? So you walk away happy. It was good. So you walk away happy. And but that's it. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna get to joy here in a second. Some people, some people use sex as a way to escape from things. Oh, it's coming to me now. I gotta write that. Ideas coming to my head. Some people use sex as something, as a mechanism to get away from serious things that they're dealing with, right? So they use sex as this mechanism, as this scapegoat to get away from things that they're dealing with. But quick sex, quick not in that it lasts 2 minutes, but quick in terms of a hookup or whatever the case is, right? That type of sex, that one night stand, that whatever the case is, most times, many times, doesn't lead to joy, nor does it cure, for wanting of a better word, nor does it alleviate, get rid of the actual underlining stuff that you have going on. But you feel good. And look, I'm not, sometimes folks just want to feel good. They've been going through the grind, they've been having a hard time, they've been whatever the case is. And so sometimes I understand folks just want to feel good. So, it's a momentary thing. And look, I'm not saying that people shouldn't, if they choose to, as consenting adults, agree to hookups or whatever the case is. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a difference, and if you're looking for happiness, that might be appropriate, right? You're just trying to get a feel good moment. But if you're looking for joy, that's probably not going to take you there. So we're going to keep going. Now, as I said, it could last for a long time. So the one night thing might turn into something where you frequently see the person and you have a sexual connection with that person for a period of time, right? It goes on for 3 months, 6 months, and you all just basically you're hooking up, right? And so and then you hook up with them obviously because you like having sex with the person. It feels good, blah blah blah. We're gonna talk about joy after. Let's go to food. We talked about sex. Let's go to food. Some people use food as something to make them feel better. They get anxiety, they get anxious, they're struggling with some anxiety, a little bit of stress and stuff kind of, and they go to their go-to meals, whether it's sugar, fast food, whatever the case is, you know your thing, you go that. And so in the moment, the same way the sex brings you temporary happiness is the same way the food, and I'm writing this stuff down, is the same way the food brings you temporary happiness. But could the food bring you joy? Well, that will depend on what type of food you're eating and how you eat food, right? What is your relationship with food? What is your relationship with sex, right? If you're trying to be a better person, what relationship do you have with those two things? And is there a difference between joy? Well, I keep eating, I'm overweight, but I keep eating because now I'm really depressed. Now I feel like I'm gonna give up. Now I feel like nobody cares. Now I feel like whatever the case is. So I'm overeating, I'm eating these foods that give me the stimuli that I'm looking for that makes me feel good in the moment, which could perhaps equal some sort of temporary happiness, but it doesn't bring you joy. Let's hop to joy. Let's go to joy for these two things, all right? So let's let's start with food since we're on food and work our way back to sex. Food. If you're overeating, if you're not eating anything good, if if most of your meals are terrible in terms of the dietary or lack of dietary supplements that you're getting from your food, then that's probably not going to lead to joy. That's probably not going to lead to joy, right? Because ultimately, what happens is you have a health situation, and that's not joyous, right? You lead yourself down the road to where you have a health situation because you sought momentary happiness or this momentary opportunity to feel good about yourself or something, and you turn to foods that do nothing for you And so, in having these many momentary opportunities or moments, so all these little moments, these little happy moments, oh, it tastes good. Oh, it tastes good. These little happy moments, and then it doesn't happen in one day. It seems like it does. You are far away from joy. Because what has happened is that we have used stopgap measures. That's like something they'll say in Washington, D.C. Stopgap measures. In other words, just stuff to fill in the meantime, to deal with the pain, to deal with the hurt. Use food, use sex, use whatever the case is to deal. And where does the food lead you? Diabetes, blood pressure, all other ailments, overweight, obesity, struggling, with doctor visits or whatever the case is, that sort of stuff. Because, because, right? Because, and this is gonna have to be a part two to this because this is gonna be long. So I'm gonna do sex and food, and I'm gonna do another video and get the other stuff to this, the part two to this. So what happens now is you find yourself in a situation where, because of how you have been eating, look at that. Look at the situation you're now in. And you're far, far, far away from joy. Let's go back to sex. So you have these moments, and I've seen this happen to people. The constant hooking up with folks, and it gets to the point where they don't even know who they are again. They've completely lost their identity, or unfortunately, you end up with some kind of STD or something like that, or and just a loss of self-esteem, and because you have no sense of who you are, because maybe you're struggling with something that's self-worth. And sometimes when you see folks sleeping around, it's because of self-worth. They don't feel like they are worth much. And so they give their body, which is such an important vessel, they turn that body over to so many different people, hoping that the sex, the momentary happiness, would heal, would cure, would alleviate some of the pain that they're feeling. And all that's happening as they're continuing to share their body over and over again, all what's happening is you're losing yourself even more. So you can't find joy. You cannot find joy, because what's waiting for you at the end of that road is a person so far removed from what reality is, so far removed from what true happiness is, which is, I consider that joy, that you've lost yourself. You've lost yourself. So joy is something where if someone, if you lose something today, right? If you lose something today, you're like, you might feel a certain way about it today, but you're so grounded in who you are. You have so much going for you that no one thing, no one person could steal your joy. You're not dependent, right? You're not completely dependent on this one thing, that it has become you, so to speak. And no one thing or no one person can steal your joy. And because you have joy, you can find your way back from where a bad thing takes you. Because you have joy, you can find your way back from where a bad thing takes you. But if you don't have joy, then it's hard to appreciate. It's hard to really just, be able to have that sense of fulfillness, right? It's very difficult to feel fulfilled, to feel that absolute joy, because all you've been doing is having these drop moments, these little drop in moments, these little moments, these little moments, these little moments, these little moments. And if you're not careful with what those little moments are, they're moving you further and further and further away from joy. So if you're having sex or you're eating food as a mechanism to deal with things that you need to work on, then you're moving yourself further away from joy. You got to deal with the issue. You're not going to find joy by doing things that are taking you away from it. So think about that. As I said, this is going to be a part 2 to this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Hey, you got to figure out yourself. You cannot run from who you are. You can't move across the world, across the United States, because everywhere you go, you're taking you with you. So at some point, you got to face you. Next time.